Hello everyone, my name is Daria, welcome back to my channel. And a very happy Valentine's Day. It is the time of year to celebrate love. Whatever love is in your life, love between friends, between family, between romantic partners. I had a lot of different ideas about what I wanted to do to celebrate Valentine's Day on my channel, and I eventually landed on a good old classic tier ranking. I, like many people, am a rom-com enthusiast, and I figured that there wouldn't be a better time for me to talk about those rom-coms, critique those rom-coms, maybe put forth some unpopular and slightly controversial opinions about rom-coms. We are going to be ranking 76 movies. That is a lot. I put on my extra strength deodorant because I'm going to be sitting in front of this ring light for hours doing this, I'm sure. Before we get started, I just want to give a couple disclaimers and explanations. I'm gonna try to talk about these movies in the most vague way possible, but if you don't want to hear about a specific movie because you want to watch it, just skip over it in the timestamp card, okay? Movies like The Notebook and virtually any Nicholas Sparks movie that is, they're not going to show up on this list because they're more like romantic dramas. It's also very possible that I've watched a movie but purposefully left it out because I didn't quite feel like it fit the genre of a rom-com. For example, I thought about putting Mean Girls on here, but then I feel like that movie's more of like a teen comedy than it is a rom-com. The long and short of it is, if your favorite rom-com or movie that you think of as a rom-com is not on this list, I either haven't seen it, forgot that I've seen it, or feel like it doesn't fit the category of a rom-com. Starting off, we have a rom-com that I feel doesn't get enough love. In fact, I feel this way about a lot of these rom-coms on here, and that is Penelope. Listen, if you have James McAvoy in your movie, it's a wrap. This is really easy. I already know what I want to do, which is put it right freaking here. There's this one kiss at the end of the film where Penelope is like walking away from James McAvoy's character. I don't even remember his name in the film. I just think of him as James McAvoy. He goes after her, he pulls her, turns her around, and just kisses her. And I think about it all the time. I'm like yanking my hair right now because I'm thinking about it. Next we have To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You. So this is the second one, aka the love triangle one, which isn't really even a love triangle because we all know who she's gonna pick. I'm gonna say it's a no for me because it was just all filler. Like, there was really no point to this movie in the same way there was really no point to like the book that this movie was based on. Looking for the first movie, okay, here we go. I feel like this objectively is like a movie that you should watch, so part of me wants to put it here, but like personally it's not there for me. Like, if I were gonna go like off my own personal like thoughts, I would put it here, but I think in terms of like the genre, it was like a reset. You know what? No, this is my tier ranking. I'm putting it in Buttered My Frickin' Biscuit because while I love To All the Boys, when I'm thinking about the movies that I want to put in Unmatched, Unparalleled, Unbeatable, it doesn't quite live up to that. I truly think that To All the Boys is going to become like a teen rom-com classic, but it's not like one of my favorites. Next we have The Last Movie, which I feel like wasn't even a rom-com. I feel like it was more like a coming of age type movie, but I still enjoyed it, like despite all that. So I'm gonna put it in She's Cute. Next we have another underrated movie, or at least I like to think so. It's Life as We Know It with Katherine Heigl and Josh Duhamel. These two are low-key like 2000s rom-com royalty. What I love about this movie is the original premise. I don't think there's a single movie on this list that even comes close to this premise. Essentially, you have Josh Duhamel's character and Katherine Heigl's character, don't remember their names, and they are friends with this married couple who have a kid, but they don't like each other, Katherine and Josh. And then one day, their friends die. That's not a spoiler, that literally happens in like the first 15 minutes of the movie. And the friends leave Josh and Katherine's characters with the baby. So they have to raise this baby, and obviously we know from there that they're gonna fall in love because duh. But it was funny, it was cute, it was heartwarming. So I'm gonna say that this one goes in Buttered My Frickin' Biscuit because this is one that has rewatch potential. Next, we have Friends with Benefits. Okay, I think the fact that I went tells me that it's in She's Cute. The thing about this movie is that Mila Kunis really carried it on her back. Like, not to say that Justin Timberlake is like the worst, like he's fine, but I was watching this movie absolutely enthralled with Mila Kunis and her character, and then Justin Timberlake was just like there. Next, we have a Cinderella Story. Now, listen, this might be one of those that people get mad at me about. I am not like die hard for this movie the way that other people are. First of all, I've just never been a fan of Cinderella stories in general. I don't feel like the leads have that same like insane chemistry that I've seen from other couples on this list. So for all those reasons and more, I'm just gonna put them in the middling tier. Next, we have a movie that I'm sure none of you have even fucking heard of. I feel like it's one of those 2000s teen rom-coms that sort of went under the radar. And that is It's a Boy-Girl Thing. Now, in this one, it's essentially Freaky Friday, but between these two students in high school who fucking hate each other. She is a preppy, Yale-bound, rich girl, and he is popular jock, Mr. Football Star, and they get switched. Obviously they switch bodies, and they hate each other, so they try to like ruin one another's respective lives until eventually like begrudgingly trying to help the other person. You know how this goes. But I would say, yeah, it's just cute. So I mean, it's not, maybe if there was a tier in between these two, but as it is, I think I'm just gonna put this one in she's cute. I enjoy her, I do. I've rewatched her, but she's not making it to this tier. Okay, now we've come to Runaway Bride. Listen. I don't like Richard Gere, whatever. I don't find him compelling, attractive, interesting as a rom-com leading man. And I especially don't like him with, oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. Julia Roberts. I just don't like them together. So this one and Pretty Woman, I'm gonna find that one after, I just don't like them. I'm pretty sure he's like a journalist and he's doing an article on Julia Roberts, and her character has like run away from like 2 or 3 weddings. Like on the altar, she just runs away and that's like her thing. And obviously they like fall in love and shit and whatever. And I don't buy it. Honestly, the only part of this movie that I like is that eventually when they are getting married, you think finally she's gotten over the commitment issues. She's gonna walk down that aisle. No, she fucking hightails it out of there on Richard Gere, whatever. And it is so fucking iconic. I love that. So for all those and more, I'm gonna say disgusting. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same with Pretty Woman. Where is she? Here she is. I don't like Pretty Woman. I see no appeal there. I don't like the way that they demonize sex work and sex workers. Next we have Sweet Home Alabama. And not gonna lie, TikTok has kind of ruined the title of this movie for me. This movie I really enjoy because it's kind of like the classic love triangle. The guy from her past who represents who she once was versus like the glitzy guy, the new guy that is kind of like the person that she wants to be. And it's like this push and pull between like which guy does she want, but also which life does she want and which person does she want to be. So in this case, I would have to say that this movie also butters my freaking biscuit. I enjoy it immensely. Next we have The Parent Trap. This movie, I actually recently rewatched it. I'm not gonna lie, the magic wasn't quite there. I would have to say that I'm just gonna put this one in she's cute. Next we have Pretty in Pink. Do I have to say more? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get the obsession. What's the appeal? I really don't get it. I don't like either of these men, her best friend or Mr. Popular. Neither of them are good options for her. In fact, sometimes I don't even like her. Like, it's a no. Next, we have No Strings Attached, which I think it was actually kind of funny that like Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached, they came out like not too long after one another and basically had the same premise. I have to say that I liked it more than Friends with Benefits, but I don't know if that means that I liked it enough to put it in Buttered My Frickin' Biscuit. Maybe I'll just like put it right here in front of Friends with Benefits, so that way in my mind I can see it as like, okay, it's slightly higher. I think what intrigues me about No Strings Attached is that you would never think to put Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman together in a rom-com, at least I never would, but it still works. Next we have a movie that I almost forgot to put on this list, which is understandable because I think the rest of the world also forgets about this movie, which is Letters to Juliet. We have Amanda Seyfried, who basically finds this like old letter written in like the 1950s addressed to some woman, written by this heartbroken guy. She tracks down the lady who wrote the letter and basically wants to like reunite these two like long lost loves. And then random blonde dude number 5 over here, I'm pretty sure he's like the grandson of this older woman and he just like doesn't believe in any of this bullshit. And then of course Amanda and unknown blonde guy number 25 eventually end up falling in love. Very easy decision to put it right in this tier because I legitimately don't remember anything about this movie. It was very forgettable. Next we have She's the Man. Again, one that I wasn't really sure if it was just like a teen comedy or a rom-com, but I went with rom-com because I fucking love this movie. I rewatched it recently with my sister and it's still so fucking good. There's something about the combination of Shakespeare retellings and 2000 teen rom-coms that just fucking works. I challenge you to find a scene that lives up to the absolute legend status of that scene where Amanda Bynes' Viola breaks up with Sebastian's girlfriend in that diner. You won't find anything to parallel it. You just won't. Our first entry into unmatched, unparalleled, unbeatable. And it's what it deserves. Okay, next we have Easy A. I would say that the romance between her and, oh my god, what's his name? Dan from Gossip Girl. I'm just gonna say Dan. I just feel like that wasn't like a huge central plot. Like, it was a cute sort of cherry on top of the ending. Like, oh hey, she ended up with a guy who like actually respects her. But that wasn't really like the main appeal. Like, the main appeal of this movie is Emma Stone and her character. See, now I feel like I shot myself in the fucking foot for including this movie because like, as a teen comedy, it's fucking incredible. But as like, just as a rom-com, if I'm thinking about the rom as well as the com, ooh, I would say I don't think I could put it higher than this. I really can't. Okay, next moving on to 50 First Dates. I know people love this movie. I know that they do. It's a very unique plot, that's for sure. But for me personally, it just doesn't do it for me, like, at all. So I'm gonna put it right here. In fact, I'm also gonna put, where's the other Adam Sandler rom-com I have? There it is. Just Go With It. Actually, you know what? No, that's rude. Because I can't put Just Go With It and 50 First Dates in the same tier. Because as much as I'm not a fan of Adam Sandler as a rom-com hero, Just Go With It is a fucking mess. I don't like that movie. Like, I just think that Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, why did I say it like that? Adam. They're funny together, but they don't give me that oomph feeling, you know? They just don't. The thing with some of these movies is that they're too much com and not enough rom. Next we have our first holiday-themed rom-com, The Holiday, very aptly named, and we have two couples for the price of one in this movie. The couple that I prefer is Kate Winslet and Jack Black. I don't really like Cameron Diaz. I don't find her very charming or intriguing in any role that she's played. Jack Black's character is so charming and funny and sweet, and Kate is just like so fucking good playing this woman who has been in this horrible stage of heartbreak and has been in love with this guy who will never give her anything, and she's trying to finally come out of that. Like, oh man, I fucking love them together. As much as I waxed poetic just now about Jack Black and Kate Winslet, I have to say, I think I'm gonna put it like right here. Actually, I'm gonna put it above 50 First Dates. Usually the order inside of the tiers doesn't matter, but for some reason, I don't know, it wouldn't feel right with my spirit to put it after 50 First Dates, so I'm not gonna. A lot of times when I'm thinking about these tiers, I'm also going based off of rewatchability, and The Holiday is not really one that every time Christmas rolls around I want to watch it again, but there actually is a movie on this list. Every time Christmas comes around, I have to watch it. I just have to. And that movie is While You Were Sleeping. Do you see what I just did? Because that's what it fucking deserves. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it, okay? Every Christmas, I have to rewatch this movie. I have to experience the absolute just grand, sweeping romance of Bill Pullman and Sandra Bullock in this movie. I have to! There's nothing I love more than the trope of like falling for the wrong person or falling for the unexpected person. And the entire time, like, Sandra Bullock's character is like so focused on having what she thinks is her fairy tale true love that she doesn't even notice the love that is real and true and right in front of her that's developing. I could talk about this movie forever. I fucking love this movie. If you haven't seen While You Were Sleeping, you're doing yourself and the whole planet a disservice, so get on that. Next, we have Bridget Jones' Diary, a classic, a reimagining, retelling of Pride and Prejudice, so of course you are gonna gain some points in my book with that one. Not only are you doing a modern Pride and Prejudice retelling, you freaking got Mr. friggin' Darcy to play in it. Once again, we have the same trope of falling for the person that you never expected. We've got enemies to lovers going on. I do think it does belong in Butter and My Freaking Biscuit. I really do enjoy this film. Next, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey, their chemistry is fucking insane. The scene in which the whole truth comes out and they walk out of that gala or whatever it was and they're fighting on the street. I've never seen like a confrontation scene in a rom-com that hit me quite as hard as that one. The emotion that they both feel, like you as an audience member can feel it. It's so fucking good. I'm gonna put How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days in unmatched, unparalleled, unbeatable. Because, I don't know, like when you think about movies about like bets, both parties are playing a trick on one another, like this movie comes to top of mind. Like it really does that trope the best. Iconic. Just so good. So fucking good. Next, we have The Ugly Truth. Now, listen. The rom-com genre in general, especially a lot of the movies made in the 2000s, rely on a lot of gender stereotypes and expectations. A wee bit of misogyny gets thrown in there, sometimes a lot more than a wee bit. And this movie definitely suffers from that early 2000s brand of misogyny. All that being said, Gerard Butler and Katherine Heigl are not a bad match. In fact, I'm thinking about that one scene where they're dancing together, and they're cute together. They're kind of hot together. But at the same time, I don't know, like, this isn't my favorite movie, you know? It's not bad, but just, Gerard Butler's character is kind of like, I roll my eyes at a lot of the shit he does. And the way he tries to, like, fix Katherine Heigl, like, there's a lot of misogyny at play and on display, folks. And for a lot of these movies, I can sort of close my eyes to it and be like, okay, I'm gonna turn off the critical part of my brain, but with this one, I just really couldn't most of the time. Next, we have what the fuck is that? Okay. I guess I got the wrong poster or something for Trainwreck. If you have Bill Hader as your romantic hero, I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna enjoy, I'm gonna be obsessed. And it's not a bad movie. In fact, I would say it's like a well-written screenplay. I think that even Amy Schumer has her moments where she's talented. Like, I can say that I do enjoy her character, but Bill fucking Hader carries this movie. He really fucking does. If you were to ask me, give this movie a rating just based on Bill Hader alone, there. But if we're taking in the movie as like a whole, I would say it's probably closer to, she's cute. Next, we have a classic 80s rom-com that is Some Kind of Wonderful. See, for some of these movies, I just want to, like, sit down and have a conversation about them and explain my ranking. But sometimes, like, with this movie, I just want to put it in the ranking and move on. I don't know, like, the movie's fine. It's cute. I'm not the biggest fan of Friends to Lovers. I think that it definitely deserves more recognition than it gets, but I also don't think I can put it in these top 2 tiers. Now we're gonna move on to the movie that is the sole reason that I created this bottom tier. And that movie is Something Borrowed. In my opinion, this movie does not deserve to be categorized as a rom-com. It is not funny. It is not romantic. I do not like any of these characters. I do not like any of the couples. Every single person in this movie is fucking annoying. And in their worst moments are genuinely bad people. Kate Hudson's character and Jennifer Goodwin's character are both bad people and bad friends. I'm just gonna use, like, their real names because I can't remember the character names for the life of me, and I don't want to remember. If I could use the Men in Black little blinker thing and erase this movie from my memory, I would love to. Kate's character freaking knew that Jennifer liked this guy. She knew it from the beginning, and she went out with him anyway. She was arrogant, self-centered, just the fucking worst. But she also didn't deserve to be cheated on. So now we're flipping to Jennifer's character, who, yes, I get it. You've been outshined by your best friend. You didn't take a lot of chances and risks, but you cannot sleep with your supposed best friend's fiance. That's so fucked. Next, let's talk about the man, I guess, who I can't remember his character's name or the actor's name. Just spineless. A toad. Actually, no, toads have spines. What's a snake? A fucking worm. The only character that was worth a damn in this movie was John Krasinski's character. Disgusting. In fact, I'm gonna put it first. Move, Runaway Bride. You're not as bad as this one. Next, we have a classic 90s teen rom-com, She's All That. Freddie Prinze Jr., you can't go wrong. You really can't. Like, that man, not only is he beautiful to look at, he is just so good in this movie, in this role. I know that I claimed that How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, like, really perfected the whole, it was just a bet, it was just a game thing, but you can't fuck with the OG. When Lainey turns to Zach and says, am I a bet? Am I a fucking bet? Just chills every fucking time. I'm gonna put this movie in Buttered My Freaking Biscuit. I know with the way I was talking, you might think it should go in Unmatched, Unparalleled, Unbeatable, but not quite. Next up, we have what is arguably my favorite rom-com of all time. If you twisted my arm and said you had to pick just one rom-com to watch for the rest of your life, I would choose When Harry Met Sally. If we want to talk chemistry between leads, they have it. In spades, they have it. The thing that makes this film so special to me is that we get to watch the progression of Harry and Sally's relationship through years together. You don't see that from any of these other rom-coms. And so when they finally get to that final stage of falling in love, admitting that they're in love, it feels earned. You feel like you've waited as long as they have to, like, find each other. This movie perfectly balances romance and comedy. I laugh out loud all the fucking time when I watch this movie. Every single time. It's the same jokes, the same delivery, but it feels like the first time. This is a movie I will never get tired of watching. If I watched When Harry Met Sally yesterday and you come to me today and say, hey, do you want to watch When Harry Met Sally? Fuck yeah, I do. Fuck yeah, I do. For all those reasons and more, I'm actually going to put it at the front of Unmatched, Unparalleled, Unbeatable. Next, we have The Switch. This movie irks me because it is just such a fucked up premise. Like, look, I can overlook a lot, okay? I can overlook bets, trickery, miscommunication, false identities. I overlook a lot, okay? But this, I can't do it. This is so many levels of fucked up. This man betrays his best friend, the supposed love of his life. He basically tricks her into having his child without her consent. And yes, you can say that he was drunk when he put his sperm in that cup, but it doesn't fucking matter. I don't know about you guys. I've been pretty drunk. In fact, you've seen that on camera. Never in a million fucking years would I ever think to do anything just even close to that insane. There's no fucking way that she fell in love with this man. He is so fucking weird. I'm putting it in disgusting. And I've made my case. I can't talk about this movie anymore. I need to move on. Next, we have Bend It Like Beckham. I wasn't sure, once again, is this a teen comedy? Is it a romance? I think that it leans maybe a bit more towards like comedy and coming of age than it does romance, but I still wanted to include it because I fucking love it. And listen, if you're not gonna give me the Jess Juliet endgame that I want, the very least you can give me is the absolutely delicious Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. So I'm gonna put this in Buttered My Freaking Biscuit because this movie is just tons of fucking fun. Next, we have 13 Going on 30, and I am not the biggest fan of this movie. Friends to lovers. I'm not the biggest fan of that trope. And I don't know. I really, I try to think about this movie and I'm like, what is it? Because I don't know if I have any, concrete complaints. I don't hate any of the characters. Because I know that Jennifer Gardner is great. And I know that her and Mark Ruffalo have chemistry. I love Mark Ruffalo. But I don't know. It just doesn't click for me. I'm gonna have to put it in, she's cute. I think this is the one controversial opinion I have that I actually feel bad about because I want to know. I want to get it. But I just don't. We have You've Got Mail. And in fact, I'm going to take this one and Sleepless in Seattle. Gonna put them both in, yeah, it's a no from me. You would think that especially with You've Got Mail, it's kind of like an enemies to lovers type situation, like rivals thing, that I would like it. But I just don't. I think I don't like Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. I know Sleepless in Seattle is one of those top 5 rom-coms of all time, but I don't see it. I really don't. Next we have a movie that I recently rewatched and was reminded just how fucking good it is. And that is Two Can Play That Game. Vivica A. Fox is a fucking marvel in this movie. Basically the entire time she's talking to you straight to the camera. She is so good at breaking the fourth wall and making you feel like she's legitimately talking to you one-on-one, having a conversation with you. What I also love about this movie is that the main couple is already established at the beginning. They're already together. And I like that because I feel like from the beginning you can see why they like each other and it's just about them finding their way back to each other. Oh, this movie is just so good. Also, just really quick, I feel like I have to mention Gabrielle Union's character in this movie. She's so gorgeous. It actually pisses me off. Next, we have a movie nobody knows about, nobody talks about, and I fucking love it. This movie made me cry twice. And one of those times, it was heaving sobs. Do you know how fucking embarrassing that is? So in this movie, we basically have these two friends, and they have to go to 10 weddings in one summer. So they decide, you know what? We're just gonna be each other's go-to date. And so that way we don't have to deal with any bullshit at these weddings, anyone trying to set us up. And we know that if we go there and if we see somebody that we like, we don't have to worry about the other person. Now, of course, things don't go to plan. The humor, the chemistry between the leads. There's one scene in this film, the one that made me sob. It's right after the leads get together. Because usually, you know how these films go. They get together, hook up, kiss, whatever. Maybe they get into a relationship. Then something goes awry, some kind of problem, miscommunication, an ex comes back, whatever. And then there's a fallout, and then they get together again, for real, at the end of the movie. We're at that first portion where they first get together and then there's a problem. They have, the two leads, this conversation. And it is so heart-wrenching. Like, you really get the fact that these two care about each other so much. Like, even beyond just like falling in love, like they value each other so much. So watching them break up, it's like a romantic breakup and like a best friend breakup all mixed into one. It's gut-wrenching. I'm gonna put it again in Butter My Frickin' Biscuit. Do I put it in front of Two Can Play That Game? I don't think so, but I'm gonna put it right behind at the front of the pack because this movie is so underrated and I hate it. Next we have Think Like a Man, which is part of that genre of rom-com in which there's like a really big ensemble cast and like multiple couples. This movie has so many like good fucking actors in it. Gabrielle Union, Regina Hall, Megan Good, Taraji P. Henson. I don't know, like what the fuck? It's really the women that I mentioned who carry this fucking movie. Like, no hate to the gentlemen in this film, but the girls were fucking carrying this movie on their back. The thing is with this movie is that there were definitely like some couples and some storylines that I enjoyed more than others. I'll be completely upfront, didn't really like Kevin Hart's storyline. Could have done without it. I don't think this is quite buttered my biscuit. I don't think it's quite there, but it's not like the worst of these movies, so I'm gonna just like randomly plop it somewhere there. Next we have Moonstruck, and let me say, I am not seeing what you guys are seeing. I'm really not. Nicolas Cage and Cher have no chemistry. I also cannot remember anything that happened in this movie, which is wild because I know that Cher won an Academy Award for this, so then why can't I remember anything that happened or anything about her character? Well, I don't know, I feel mean because like I don't hate it as much as like Something Borrowed because I actively hate those characters. Like I remember what happened in that movie because I hated it so much. Whereas Moonstruck, it's just like a little bit of a flop because I can't remember anything. Like it obviously wasn't memorable. I'll put it at the front of disgusting, but just know that I don't like actively hate this movie as I do like Something Borrowed or The Switch or even Pretty Woman. Next, we have Mamma Mia. And let's not pussyfoot around here. Let's not play. Unmatched, unparalleled, unbeatable. There are movies, there are films, and then there are experiences. And Mamma Mia is a top tier fucking experience. You can't just watch Mamma Mia. Okay, you watch Mamma Mia, and then you rewatch your favorite clips, and then you listen to the soundtrack for at least a week after watching it. Like, this movie is a lifestyle. Do you understand? Every single person was perfectly casted. Down to the fucking extras in the back. This movie is as close to perfection as Hollywood has ever come. They'll never reach these kinds of heights again. Moving on, we have the DUFF. Another underrated gem. There's nothing I love more than when one character is trying to help another character win over somebody, but then they start falling in love instead. Like, I love that. Once again, it's falling in love with the unexpected person. We always come back to the balance between romance and comedy, and this movie toes that line so well. I come back to this movie and I can rewatch it and I still find it just as enjoyable as the first time I saw it. Next, we have Notting Hill, and let me just go ahead and do this and then try to explain. I just don't like the premise of this movie. I don't find Hugh Grant's character appealing. Neither is Julia Roberts' character. And I know everybody loves that line. Like, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. It's desperate. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. But I also just like don't get the appeal of that scene. And it just doesn't get to me the way it does other people. Like, everyone brings up that line all the fucking time and I just don't get it. Next, we have Crazy Stupid Love, another ensemble cast with multiple couples. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone carry this movie for me. I fucking love them together. I love them. I'm gonna put it in Butter My Frickin' Biscuit. I mean, I would put it there regardless because Ryan and Emma Stone, but I do think the rest of the cast also like pulled their weight with this movie. Next, we have Love and Other Drugs, which I feel like is more of a romantic dramedy, but I mean, it's here. I can't take it back. Anne Hathaway and Jake Gyllenhaal are so fucking hot in this movie. I'm sorry. I feel like I've gone this long without being too shallow, but I'm about to get real shallow. They just look so good together. They're hot together. I don't know what you want me to say. Next, we have a movie that I will fucking go to bat for. Watch this. Watch me very carefully. Boom. I don't want to hear it. Leap Year is a fucking classic. Leap Year is iconic. Leap Year is legendary. Leap Year has what these bitches wish they had. This serves every single trope you could possibly want. Taking a road trip together, forced proximity, there's only one bed, we have to pretend to be married, I'm trying to help you get to this other guy and be with this other guy, but secretly I'm starting to want you. Like, it does it all, and it does it so fucking well. I don't want to hear a single bad thing about Leap Year, unless it's critiquing Matthew Good's Irish accent, because I know it's not that good. But besides that, I don't want to hear anything. Zip it. Next up, we have Love, Rosie. This one's like kind of a sleeper hit. I would say a little bit of a cult classic, a Twitter fave, if you will. And it deserves that recognition. It really does. I feel like this movie is very similar to When Harry Met Sally in that we are following these two friends throughout their lives. It takes them a long fucking time to get together. Because of that, you would think that I would want to put it in Unmatched, Unparable, Unbeatable, but not quite. Instead, I'm gonna put it like, sort of like maybe a bit higher on Buttered My Frickin' Biscuit. I think that Lily Collins and Sam Claflin are incredible in this movie, both individually and together, but I don't know. It's just, I can't quite find it in myself to push it up to the other tier. There's something holding me back. The next movie I want to talk about is another underrated fave of mine, which is Flipped. Now listen, I have history with this film, okay? When it first came out, I was so desperate to see it. I did all my fucking homework the night before. I stayed up till 3 a.m. and on a Thursday night, a school night, I had my mom drive me 50 miles out of town to watch this fucking movie. I love that we follow like both the characters' perspectives at different times. We're constantly flipping between Bryce and Julie. One of the most heartwarming love stories I've ever seen. It doesn't get cuter. Next, we have Crazy Rich Asians. And single-handedly revitalized the rom-com genre. Made the rom-com, once again, viable at the box office. Who else is doing it like that? Who? Nobody! Nobody! Henry Golding and Constance Wu are so cute, I can't fucking stand them. Once again, I love that we have like an established couple and you can just tell from the very first time that they're on screen together how much they love each other. This movie is like a sight to behold. It is a spectacle. From how beautiful every single actor is, to the clothes, to the locations, to the fucking wedding. Okay, if you've seen this movie, I don't even have to say anything. If you haven't watched this movie yet, first of all, I don't know how that's possible, and second of all, get on that because it's embarrassing. Next, oh shit! Okay, we have two icons back to back. Clueless is obviously going in the top tier. Once again, this was another movie that I was like, is it a rom-com or is it like a teen comedy? Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't even have to explain like why I put this movie where I put it. Like, if you've seen it, you know. And even if you haven't seen it, you know. The romance in it is actually kind of fucked up when you think about it. You have a man in college who ends up with a girl who's like 17, like she's in high school, and he's like her stepbrother. Like when you actually think about it for too long, it's not great. But I think we all forgive it because we like love this movie so much and because it's Paul Rudd. But in all honesty, if that happened in real life, police? Yes, I'd like to report a crime. Next, we have, I think, like the newest movie on this list that I only recently watched, which is The Hating Game. Oh, this is a hard one, actually. You know what? I'm gonna put it, like, towards the front of, She's Cute. Now that I've, like, sorted a lot of these, I can look at each of these tiers and sort of, like, assess the movies I haven't sorted based on the ones I have. When I'm thinking about The Hating Game, do I think that it measures up to Love, Rosie, Penelope, Plus One, Flipped? No, I don't think it does. My job is actually about to get a lot easier with the rest of these movies because now I can just go based on what I've already ranked. The Kissing Booth. Oh, fuck. Okay. Do I have to explain? I feel like everybody knows. Like, you know. I'm sure that you, like me, have watched multiple commentary YouTubers rip this movie and its sequels to shreds. So we don't have to discuss it. We don't have to explain anything. We get it. Next up, we have another movie that was not what it promised it would be. And because of that, I have issues. Last Christmas, you have Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding in a Christmas-themed rom-com together. I was so ready to eat that shit up. I remember the way that people were theorizing about this movie when the trailer came out on Twitter. And let me just say, it was worse. It was so much worse than what people thought it was gonna be. Okay, spoiler alert if you haven't watched this movie. Seriously, if you don't want to get spoiled, move away, because I'm about to ruin the whole thing. This man is dead the entire time, and I fucking called it. I sat down in that theater with my friend, I turned to him and I said, watch this man be dead the entire time. Did I want to be right? No, I didn't want to be right. I just wanted to sit there and watch a cute Christmas rom-com, and instead, I got that bullshit. Stop marketing these fucked up sad movies as rom-coms. Just stop. Because of that, and this honestly, out of everything, this pains me the most, I have to put it here. I have to. I'll put it more towards the front to be nice. But like, what the fuck was that? That was not what I signed up for. Next, we have Falling in Love, which from what I can remember, which is honestly not much, it was fine. It was cute. You know, it wasn't really anything to write home about. Decent chemistry between the leads, fine premise, cute supporting characters. Like, when I think of generic rom-com, I would say this is what I think of. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it right there. Next, we have Hitch. I would say that I enjoyed this movie more for like Will Smith and his character and like the coaching he gave. Oh my god, I was about to say Paul Blart. I feel like I preferred the scenes where Will Smith helps Kevin James's character more so than I enjoyed any of the romantic scenes with Eva Mendes. I would say this movie veers more towards like comedy for me than it does romance. I think I'm just gonna plop it randomly into she's cute. I feel like my explanation for some of these movies are just not at all interesting. Sometimes you just have a gut feeling about a movie and you just put it where you want to put it, and there's not really much to be said. Next, we have The Proposal. Once again, we have a pairing that you would never think to put together, Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, and yet it works. Of the two, Sandra Bullock is definitely the one who stands out. I don't think anyone can argue differently. I am gonna put it in unmatched, unparalleled, unbeatable, because Sandra and Ryan just know how to play off each other. The comedic scenes are so fucking funny. They're matching each other's energy perfectly. The romantic scenes are the same way. And that scene at the end when he comes after her in the office, see, I'm getting giddy just thinking about it. Like, that is what happens with my favorite rom-coms. Next, we have The Holidate. And this movie was so fucking dumb. It was weird because I feel like they were trying to be edgy by being like a rated R rom-com and like showing a lot of sex and saying fuck a bunch, but just because you say fuck a lot doesn't mean that you're interesting. I mean, just look at me. So I'm gonna say it's a no for me. It's not as bad as these on the bottom, but I mean, you could have tried so much harder and you didn't, so. Next, we have another recent release that I feel like nobody watched besides me. I remember I was so excited to go see this movie at a drive-in theater because it was like the first time in months that I'd actually like gone out to do something fun. So in a sense, I do have like warm feelings about it. But being objective, I think it also is like a cute movie. So I think I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put it like should I just place it randomly? Love Don't Cost a Thing. And I know that I watched this movie, but I can't remember it. I remember I liked this movie so much that I didn't even bother watching the original rom-com it's based off of. It's like some 80s one with Patrick Dempsey. I think I'm gonna put it in like, yeah, it's a no from me. Because, I mean, I can't remember it, so. Next, we have another underrated 90s rom-com, Drive Me Crazy. I feel like nobody ever talks about this movie, and I love it. I'm putting it right into Buttered My Freaking Biscuit. Once again, we have falling for the unexpected person. It's also fake dating. Like, you can never go wrong with fake dating. Ever. If you have fake dating trope in your movie, it's gonna be good. That's just like the law of physics. Next, we have an indie rom-com, I guess you could say, which is The First Time. And I remember when this movie came out because it was like the height of Teen Wolf and Dylan O'Brien popularity, and everybody was trying to watch this movie just for Dylan O'Brien. And I remember at the time, I was like 13 or 14 years old. It was definitely one of the more scandalous movies I watched. Watching it back now, it's like really not that big of a deal. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this movie. I think that Dylan and Britt's chemistry really carried it. Other than that, not anything to write home about. So I'll just put it in the middling tier. Next, we have Love, Simon. Based on the high-pitched register of my voice just then, I think you can tell where I'm probably gonna put this. I love this movie. I love that it is equal parts rom-com and equal parts coming of age. Simon and Bram, I don't know two better people. I don't know a better couple. I wish so much that we got to see more of them on screen together. I don't know if you guys know that the movie is based on a book or if you've read said book, but in the book, you get to see them, like, be a couple and be all domestic and adorable for a good, like, 50 pages. And we didn't get to see that in the movie, and I'm so angry about it. Next, we have Deliver Us From Eva. And I kind of want to just put it in Butter My Freaking Biscuit because Gabrielle Union is in it. I fucking love her character. That's all you need to know. I'm in love with Eva. The chemistry between the leads, it's there. It really fucking is there. And we have the whole like trope of like the bet thing going on, the trickery, which like adds a level of angst that I love. I'm gonna put it like randomly towards the top here because there's one major thing that keeps me from really loving this movie. Eva has 3 sisters who all have 3 significant others and partners. And these partners don't like Eva. And Eva, yes, maybe she's a bit too involved in her sister's lives, but at the same time, being a sister myself, I get it. These 3 significant others, these 3 dudes, hire this other guy to come in and date Eva and basically get Eva off their backs. I do not like the way that they demonize Eva, because it is perfectly understandable the way that the 3 sisters all are very attached to Eva and how attached all the sisters are, because they all lost their parents very young. So Eva had to like step up and basically be their mother, their father, their protector, their provider, all when she was really young. And you see that Eva has sort of been forced into this role even though she doesn't necessarily want to be those things. I'm going all like meta-analysis on this, but like, it just really pissed me off. Next, we have a movie that I will not shut up about until everyone watches, okay? This is the Man Up Agenda. The thing I love about this movie is that it features 2 characters who are of a certain age that you don't see a lot in rom-coms. The rom-com genre has largely been defined by young people in their 20s to early 30s. Most of the time they're white, cis, straight, and they always are of a certain weight. I did not mean to rhyme just then. Now in this movie, we are only really deviating from one of those things, which is that we have 2 main characters who are in their 40s. One of them has been divorced and is dating for the first time again. These 2 are so fucking funny together and so attractive together. I don't know how else to phrase it. They play off one another so well. I don't think it's possible for anyone to watch this movie and not enjoy themselves and not have a good time. So, because of all that, I'm gonna put it towards the top of buttered my friggin' biscuit, because that's exactly what it did. It buttered it, and it buttered it real good. Next, we have another ensemble cast, star-studded, if you will. Jennifer Aniston, Drew Barrymore, Jennifer Goodwin. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched this movie. Every single time I was sick, I had the holidays off, I was watching this movie. It is the definition of a comfort watch. Every single storyline and every single couple is intriguing to me. Of course I have my favorites, but there's not a one of them that I actively dislike. And the really interesting thing about this movie is that with some of the love stories, we're not meant to root for them. And I really like that. I like that we got to see these sort of blossomings of first love. We got to see someone trying over and over again, going on all these dates. And then we got to see 2 people engaging in an affair. You just get swept up in every single romance. And so I am putting it in unmatched, unparalleled, unbeatable. I know that at the time when this movie came out, it did well at the box office, but I don't see anyone talking about it, and that upsets me. If you have not watched this film, this is your sign. Go and watch it. Next, we have When in Rome. And I feel like this is a very forgettable rom-com. I forgot about it. I'm sure you forgot about it. The premise is honestly kind of wacky and not in a way that's enjoyable. Basically, it's about this girl who gets super drunk at her little sister's wedding and then roams around in this Italian fountain and picks out coins. And then every single coin that she picks up, that dude like falls in love with her. See, I say that premise out loud and it sounds fucking weird. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it in it's a no from me, because it's not one that I would recommend to you, and it's not one that I would watch again. Next, we have My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and the power of this movie is literally insane. Like, it was this small indie rom-com no one even gave a second glance to, no one thought would do well, and it made so much fucking money. Like, it broke records at the box office. And it was deserved. This movie, it brought the rom, it brought the com, it brought the rom again, and then it went back and brought the com another time. And I love it because, like, it's so focused on this, like, huge family. It reminds me a lot of my own, like, Iranian family. Just how, like, involved they are and how every single person has, like, a little quirk and a thing that they're kind of known for. Next, we have Love Actually, which is probably, like, one of the most popular, if not, like, the most popular, like, Christmas movie of all time. Like, everyone brings up this movie every time Christmas comes around. And I just don't get it. I don't know, there's just like no romance that really sticks out to me here, no storyline that sticks out to me. I mean, I like that they have like different types of love, like love between a father and son, love between romantic partners, blossoming love, love between old-time friends. I don't know, I feel like with Love Actually, it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's cute, but then because everybody else loves it so much, you're just like, it's not that great. And then it makes you like dislike the movie more. So surprisingly, and probably shockingly for a lot of people, I'm gonna put it in it's a no for me. because I don't get it. The only part of that movie that I like is the storyline between the stepfather and the son. Next we have Valentine's Day, which was such an insane movie. Like, I remember when the trailer came out and all of Hollywood is in this movie. Like, what the hell? However, just because you have a packed roster doesn't mean it's a good movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in it's a no from me, because I cannot remember a single couple, a single thing from that movie. Not a damn plot point comes to mind. The only thing I remember is Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner cameoing as this, like, really handsy high school couple. Next, we have another underrated gem, a fave of mine that I recently rewatched with my sister, and that is What's Your Number, featuring Anna Faris and Chris Evans. Anna Faris in general is so underrated, but especially in this film. Like, she nails this part. It's basically about this woman who reads this magazine saying that a woman who has more than 20 sexual partners in her lifetime, it's statistically much harder for her to get married. So Anna's character decides that she doesn't want to go over the number 20. The 20th guy she sleeps with has to be her husband. And then she gets it in her head, hey, maybe if I take a look back at all my ex-boyfriends, I'll find something there worth keeping around for the rest of my life. As you can see, ye old 2000s, 2010 misogyny is present here. But we can overlook it because it's a really good movie. So I'm gonna go and put this in Buttered My Frickin' Biscuit. Next we have Warm Bodies, which I think is the only, like, paranormal, supernatural rom-com on this list. In fact, I don't think that there are many paranormal rom-coms to speak of. I remember watching this movie in theaters, and it was cute. You know, Nicholas Hoult did a good job playing a zombie, I guess, but I can't really remember much of it. So I'm just gonna put it right here. When it comes to Never Been Kissed, I don't know, I just don't get the appeal. I can't really look past how, like, weird it is. This grown woman is pretending to be a teenager and hanging out with teenagers. And then she starts to like and flirt with and have these, like, charged moments with the English teacher who believes her to be a teenager and is still having these moments with her. Like, what the hell? And then her and the teacher get together, and first of all, she should be weirded out because he was okay, like, flirting and getting really close to a student, and he should be weirded out because of that weird fucking ruse she pulled. Like, what the fuck is happening? Next, we have Set It Up, which was amongst a lot of new age Netflix rom-coms that have really been setting the bar for a new generation. I like this one. I thought it was cute. Chemistry between the leads. I thought that Lucy Liu's character was fucking perfection. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the middling tier. All right, we are down to our final 5, and first up we have 27 Dresses. I really do enjoy this film. I like the premise. I like, once again, we're falling for the guy that you never thought you would fall for. I liked the strange relationship that's featured between the two sisters. I think that it's realistic, the resentment that they have. I also like that they actively try to work on that relationship. Katherine Heigl was really just, like, dominating rom-coms in the 2000s. She really was that girl. I'm gonna put this, like, maybe, like, towards the front of the she's cute. I don't think she's quite on this tier's level. Next we have the classic 90s rom-com. It doesn't get better than this. So let's go ahead and put her where she belongs at the top here. When you think retelling, when you think teen comedy, when you think teen rom-com, when you think chemistry between leads, you think of 10 Things I Hate About You. I don't think there's gonna be a single person out there watching this that's gonna disagree with me. Like, it is just a well-accepted fact that 10 Things I Hate About You is top-tier romantic comedy. I don't even have to explain myself. Like, you know, and you get it. And if you don't get it, that's humiliating and you should keep that to yourself. Next, we have Confessions of a Shopaholic. And listen, Hugh Dancy is a man that I think is personally underrated. He and Isla Fisher are so fucking cute in this movie. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm really trying to speed this up because I've been talking for 3 hours and my voice is almost gone. The Backup Plan, our first Jennifer Lopez movie. This is actually the only rom-com I've seen from Jennifer Lopez. I haven't seen her more classic ones like Made in Manhattan and Wedding Planner. I mean, it was an interesting premise. Girl artificially inseminates herself and gets pregnant because she's given up on a relationship and then meets Mr. Perfect and now they're having a baby. But other than that, it was not really anything that special. Rom-com number 76. And we are ending with a bang. Angus, Thongs, and Perfect Snogging. Once again, a bit of just a teen comedy and coming of age, but I'm gonna count it as a rom-com as well. This movie deserves unmatched, unparalleled, unbeatable status. I'm obsessed with this film. This movie, like, perfectly captures, I think, what it is to be a middle schooler And we also have Aaron Taylor Johnson in this movie. Like, you don't understand the obsession I had with that man and still have with that man. And let's not even get started on the soundtrack for this movie. Just bop after motherfucking bop. If you haven't seen this movie, I don't care how old you are, you will love it, you will find it hilarious. Okay, guys, I did it. I tier ranked 76 rom-coms in just under 3 hours. I think I like beat it by like 3 minutes. Let me know what you thought of this tier ranking video, where you would put these rom-coms. If there's any that you think I grossly misjudged, please do let me know. If you guys want to find me or follow me anywhere else, all those links will be down below. I love you all very dearly. I wish you a happy, happy Valentine's Day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!